Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be showing y'all how to create the first ever small ball wing catfish build with 100 plus post control on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now, this build is also going to be applicable to current gen, and there's going to be a lot of different things that you need to consider with this build, but the best is that we're going to be able to get also a 100 plus mid-range, 3-point shot, free throw, and perimeter defense. Now, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button. So let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. We're going to make it under the shooting guard position. Now, what makes this build super rare is that you can only make wing builds out of small forwards. But today we're going to be able to make this build out of the shooting guard. Now, when it comes down to the actual breakdown of the physicals and the body settings, I'm going to go with the height of 6'8". Now, for the weight, I'm going to go with 180. And then when it comes down to the wingspan, I'm going to put this to 7'6". Now, the body shape, I'm going to go with built, just so that way I can take up the most space for the defensive end. Now, from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the attributes. So the first area that I'm going to focus on is going to be the physicals. For my speed, I'm going to put this up to an 80. Now, if you choose to upgrade your speed or acceleration one higher than the other, this really comes down to which one you want to choose between. So if you want to upgrade the acceleration higher than the speed, that's another option that you can definitely go with. Now, for this build on my acceleration, I'm going to go with the 73. Then for the strength, I'm going to go ahead and leave this as is. Now, for my vertical, go with the 71, and then when it comes down to the breakdown of the stamina, put this to a 90 and you're going to be all set to go. Now, when it comes down to this build, I went back and forth with being able to maintain the build name, getting the best possible badge setups, as well as the best attribute upgrades. Now, for the finishing, let's go ahead and get started with the close shot. I'm going to put this up to an 85, and that right there already gives us a good amount of Hall of Fame badges. Now, for the second area, for the driving layup, I'm going to go with an 80. These all come down to my personal preference, and then when it comes down to my driving dunk, I'm going to put this to an 80 as well. Now, for the standing dunk, you can go ahead and put this to a 77 or lower it to your own liking. Then when it comes down to the post control, I'm going to put this to a 94, and that right there gives us a total of 25 badges. Now, as you can see, when it comes down to tier 1, we get 6 Hall of Fame badges. Now, for tier 2, I like the fact that we get Fearless Finisher on gold. Then for tier 3, we're also able to get Posterizer, Slithery, as well as Limitless Takeoff. Now, from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the shooting. So for the mid-range shot, you can raise this all the way up to an 80, but if you go past that, the build name is going to change, and that is something that you definitely don't want happening. Now, for the 3-point shot, I'm going to go ahead and put this exactly to an 80. That right there brings us up to a total of 20 badges. Now, for the free throw, I'm going to go with an 86, and this is going to set the build out to be made perfectly. So as you can see, for tier 1, the main badges that I'm looking at are amped on gold, also Mini Magician, and then Space Creator. Then also I do like Volume Shooter. Now, for tier 2, we get Agent 3, Green Machine, and then also Corner Specialist and Guard Up. Then for tier 3, we're also able to get Blinders, Limitless Range, Deadeye, and then Catch and Shoot. Now, from here, let's get into the breakdown of the playmaking. I'm going to go ahead and put my pass accuracy to a 74. Now, when it comes down to my ball handle, put this to an 84 as well. And then when it comes down to the speed with ball, I'm going to go with the 77, and this right there gives us a total of 20 badges. Now, for tier 1, we get Hall of Fame Ankle Breaker, also get Gold Hyperdrive. Then from there, we also get Break Starter on silver. Now, for tier 2, I like the fact that we get Gold Quick First Step, also get Hall of Fame Vice Grip. And then for tier 3, Clamp Breaker and Killer Combos both on silver, Bronze Handles for days, and then Gold Unpluckable. Now, that's 20 badges when it comes down to the playmaking, 20 when it comes down to the shooting, and then another 25 for the finishing. Now, when it comes down to the defensive end, for my interior, I'm going to raise this all the way up to a 71. Now, when it comes down to my perimeter, I'm going to put this to an 81. Now, if you want to adjust these numbers, you can do so to your own liking. But when it comes down to the steal, I'm going to go with the 74 right here. And then when it comes down to the block, I feel like it's going to be very essential to put this all the way up to a 75. Now for the defensive rebound, to wrap this build up, I'm going to go with the 74. Then you can go ahead and put the rest of the upgrades into any area of this build. But if you want to get another badge upgrade, go with the 59 offensive rebound. And that right there gives us 21 defensive badges. Now for tier 1, the main badges that I'm looking at are silver box out beast. Also get gold menace, and then for tier 2, gold chase down artist, bronze glove, pogo stick, and interceptor. Now for tier 3, I like the fact that we were able to maintain anchor on bronze. Also get clamps, rebound chaser, and then silver challenger. Now with all these badges added into one, we'll be able to get at least 91 plus badges once you become a starter in my career. And I think overall, if you want to make the version of this build to where you get 21 shooting badges instead of 20, you can do that, but the only adjustments that you need to make are going to be from the physicals as well as your free throw. I'm going to leave it like this, so again, it really comes down to your own preference and style of play. From here, let's go ahead and check out the takeovers. So we get the shot creating, also going to be able to get the sharpshooting, then we get the lockdown, and then to wrap it up, we get the post scoring. So what's really going to complete this build and confuse your opponent is picking one of the post scoring takeovers. The first one that I would go with is going to be advanced post moves. Now for the second one, if you want to break ankles more often, I would go with ankle breaking shots takeover. But if you want to be able to be a bigger threat from deep, I would pick sharpshooting and go with limitless range. Now this all comes down to your own preference and liking, like I said. But with everything so far picked out how we made it, you'll be able to maintain the build name. Now from here, let's go ahead and check it out to make sure that we made it correctly together. And as y'all can see, we get some nice comparisons, but we have created the first ever catfish small ball wing build with 100 post control as well as post scoring takeover. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and get into the badge count. But if you mess with this build, go ahead and let me know in the comments. What would you change about it and what did you like about it the most? But again, I would highly appreciate it if everybody went ahead and smashed that like button. That is definitely going to help me out. Now from here, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the 99 overall stats. Now, if you did pick specific takeovers, you do have the potential of a 100 plus post control, mid-range shot, 3-point shot, free throw, and perimeter defense. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the badges. Now for tier 1, the main badges that I'm going to go with are first going to be Hall of Fame back down Punisher. Another badge that I feel like is really versatile is going to be Dream Shake on Hall of Fame. Then when it comes down to another tier 1 badge, I like Pro Touch on Bronze. Now normally I would go with Pro Touch on Hall of Fame, but I'm going to save the rest of the upgrades for another area of this build. So when it comes down to tier 2, I'm going to go with Gold Fearless Finisher, and then for tier 3, this is going to be able to get unlocked, so the badges that I'm going to work with are first going to be Silver Limitless Takeoff. Now you want to go ahead and use your core badge as Silver Slithery. Then you can go ahead and put the rest of the upgrades into Bronze Posterizer. And this is what we're going to be looking like when it comes down to the finishing, a little bit out of every single tier. Now in my opinion, this is definitely one of the stronger builds. Now let's go ahead and get into the shooting. The first badge that I'm going to go with out of tier 1 is going to be Amped on Gold. Now if you did go with the version of getting an extra shooting badge, you'll be able to unlock Hall of Fame Midi Magician. But today I'm going to go ahead and put this on gold. Now another badge that I like is also going to be Space Creator. And if you did go with the second version of this build, both of these badges will be able to be put on Hall of Fame. Now another badge that I'm going to throw on is going to be Silver Volume Shooter. Then for tier 2, Agent 3 on Bronze, and then also Green Machine on Silver. Now for the final badge, I'm going to go with Limitless Range as my core badge. We have 2 more remaining, so if you want to, you can even go with Hall of Fame Volume Shooter. And this is going to be the setup when it comes down to the shooting. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. For tier 1, the first 2 badges that I'm going to go with are going to be Ankle Breaker on Silver, then Gold Hyperdrive. Now that wraps it up for tier 1. For tier 2, I decided to go with Gold Quick First Step. Now for tier 3, this really comes down to your own preference and liking, but consider adding extra badges towards this build. So first, I would go with Handles for Days on Bronze. Another one that I like, I'm going to go with Gold Core Unpluckable. Now we're left with 5 more remaining badges. So if you add 1 extra badge towards this area, you'll be able to get killer combos on Silver. But I think overall this is the perfect setup when it comes down to the playmaking. So for tier 1, I'm going to go with Ankle Braces on Bronze. Another one that I like is going to be Silver Box Out Beast. Now for tier 2, I'm going to go with Gold Chase Down Artist as well as Bronze Glove. And then when it comes down to tier 3, this all comes down to which badges you want to pick from. The first one that I'm going to go with is going to be Rebound Chaser on bronze. Another one that I like, of course, you need to go ahead and put on Anchor. Now it comes down to which badge you want to pick for your core. Now for me, I would really go ahead and say Collapse is going to be essential. But if you're looking to be more of a perimeter defender, I would go ahead and put on Silver Core Challenger. Now this is the setup for the defensive end, but again remember you can make your own changes and adjustments not only towards the attributes but especially for the badge layout. Now as you can see in total, we get 91 plus badges. Now for the finishing we get 25, another 20 for the shooting, 20 for the playmaking, and 21 for the defensive. Now if you made it this far into the video, comment down TG for thank God as well as where you are tuning in from, and I most definitely got y'all with the response. But thank y'all for the support. And man, with all that being said, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button. I appreciate y'all. I love you. And I thank you once again. And with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.